So you've got your 5 gross motor skill stations: reaction, orientation with objects in space, hand-eye coordination, balance, and rhythm. Each station has 2 activities. Ideally, if you have 4 students at each station will last 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, the students rotate. That will give 15 minutes for the first round, and then the second round of activities is an additional 15 minutes, and you have your 30 minutes of quality physical activity for your recess. So I've got 5 stations that will work on gross motor skills. The beauty of this is this can be set up indoors or it can be set up outside. Some of the equipment that you see is necessary for indoor use, but can be converted with just chalk to mark your spaces when you get to the outside, to get into the outdoors. The first station you see here is reaction station. There are 2 activities for each station. I'll go through one entire time, show you the first activity, and then follow up with the second. The first to work on children's reaction time is a balloon drop. So this particular activity requires partners. It can be teacher, student, or it can be student. One student or the teacher will hold the balloons about shoulder height, and without saying anything to the partner who's waiting in front to catch them, the person will drop one balloon or the other. The object is for the student to catch the balloon before it hits the ground. These balloons are smaller for hands that are smaller and for reaction times that aren't quite where we want them. These balloons can be pumped up larger to hold more air so that it gives the child a chance to catch the balloon. So that's how you can vary this. From reaction time, we'll move to orientation. A group of students will be working with objects in space. The first activity that you see here is just basically hitting the balloon in the air. Kids love this. So do adults. So, using 2 hands, underhand, overhand. It can be one hand underhanded. It's really important to work on dominant and non-dominant hands if possible. Challenge here is to see how many times you can hit it before it hits the ground. From orientation, we will move to hand-eye coordination. At hand-eye coordination, the first activity we'll do is just a really simple ball drop. So we're going to take the playground ball, 2 hands, drop, and catch. Drop and catch. That's going to be difficult for some children it will not. To increase the challenge, catch them with 1 hand. Make sure that you use dominant and non-dominant hand. You can even turn it into a dribble. Catch and push to the ground. 1 hand. Make sure we're working on dominant and non-dominant. So it can be dribble, or it could just be as simple as a drop and catch. Drop and catch, working on hand-eye coordination. For hand-eye coordination, we will go to balance, our balance station. The first activity at balance station is to stand on 1 foot. The student will pass the ball around 1 leg, seeing how many times they can do without. They can go around their leg without losing their balance and stepping down with both feet. Every time they do that, they'll start again. That was twice in Miss Sutton. Then we'll go with the other leg, making sure that we work. I have a little bit more trouble with my right leg. Working both legs, going both directions. Using a tennis ball is a little bit easier than a playground ball. Smaller hands have a harder time, so do bigger hands. both directions. For balance, we will rotate to our rhythm station. The first activity we'll do is hoop jumps at rhythm. There are two sets that I have here today. Bigger feet, older kids can use the rings, but the poly spots can be used for smaller feet. The first time through, the students will 1 foot in each ring, and they come back to the beginning. The second time it gets a little bit more challenging. 2 steps in each ring. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Next time through, we increase to 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And 4. Again, smaller feet, poly spots work. Now this is when we take this activity outdoors, it gets a lot easier. Chalk can be used for these, everything that you see here. The poly spots and the rings, chalk drawings could be used in place of this equipment. And then from rhythms, we're back to the beginning with our reaction station. After you've completed the 5 activities at the 5 stations, the number 2 activity is the yardstick drop. Again, at this station, this is a partner station. Either the teacher or a student will be the dropper. A student will be the catcher. Holding the yardstick at shoulder height, just like the balloon drop, the student will drop the yardstick. The partner will have their hand ready and see how few inches it takes for them to react and catch the yardstick with one hand. Trying with both hands, or trying with one hand, the dominant hand, and then the non-dominant hand. So it's just a drop and a catch. Obviously, it's not that easy when you've got a partner who's the dropper. Again, we go from reaction station to the orientation station with objects in space. The second activity at orientation is a scarf toss. Students will take the scarf in either hand, they'll toss it in the air, turn, and catch it with the opposite hand. Toss it in the air, turn, and catch it. The object is to catch it before it hits the ground. Toss, catch. Now for hands that are not prepared to catch with just one hand, you can catch with 2 hands. And you can start out with something as simple as toss and catch. Toss and catch. Opposite hand catches from the hand that throws. And then you can add the turn in between, catching with 2 hands or catching with 1. From orientation, the second activity is completed here. We will go to hand-to-eye coordination. At hand-eye coordination, you've got different objects here depending on the student's skill level. Some students may not be, the lollipop paddle may not be for all students. It's a little harder to maneuver and it's harder to keep the ball on the paddle. The object is to walk around the station without dropping the ball. You drop the ball, no big deal. Put it back on your paddle, switching hands. And another challenge would be weaving in and out of the cones. And I got to watch out for my partners here that are working with me at this station. So that brings in some space awareness as well. For students that have a hard time with this particular equipment, use a tennis racket, same activity, walking around in space, in general space, but also through the cones. Having a different set of equipment, different balls for them to choose from, That's their comfort level, whatever they feel that they can use the best at this station. From hand-eye coordination, we'll rotate again to balance. Again, at the balance station, just like at our hand-eye coordination, we've got different equipment for students to choose. Just like with my balance activity where I was using the tennis ball and then going a little harder with the playground ball, this same activity or this same balance activity, you can use either or any of this equipment, whatever the student is comfortable with. This is just a bounce. The leg will go over the ball, it will bounce again, and the student should catch it. So bounce, over, bounce, catch. Bounce, over, bounce, catch. Can also be on one bounce. Takes some coordination. This also works on hand-to-eye coordination as well as balance. So 2 bounces or 1 at the balance station. We'll move from balance to finally our last activity at the rhythm station. Our last activity is the great old school game of hopscotch. It's a great activity. It's good, a good jumping activity, increases sensory motor skills, works on sensory motor skills that lead to better gross motor skills as well. So adding some jumping activities really enhances the stations that you have. So students, as you probably remember, students will 1 foot, 2, all the way through. Back of the line, the next student goes, and then you can have them put a pebble down or put a marker down, and they skip that particular poly spot, however you want or however the students want to lead that. The biggest thing is hop, jump, hop, jump, all the way through.